Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another video analysis for the coming week ahead. My apologies to everyone. I've not been consistent with my videos this January, and that's because I've been on the road a lot. I've been doing some traveling and some work, so that hasn't really allowed me to really settle down and prepare some of these videos in the past few weeks. My apologies for that. So going right ahead into the analysis for the coming week, I'll just go back and do a little brief on what we were expecting in the last few weeks from my last what has happened in the market from my last videos. Sorry, let me just close that. Like that. Let me disable the notifications. Okay, yeah. So in my last video, that was I missed 2 weeks, so that was 3 weeks ago. In my last video, we were looking at the Euro USD trading within this range between 12.97 and about somewhere around 14.60, 14.70. If we come back to the daily, we'll see that a little bit clearly. I marked it on the daily, yeah, 14.60. This is just a false break on that move. And like I said, I expect the Euro USD to continue to trade within this range within the next few weeks, going on into February and possibly till the ending of March before we'll see a significant breakout on this pair. And you can see that after that false break, you can see that the pair came down to test the support, and there's a strong rejection just on yesterday, Friday. You can see there was that strong rejection, and you can see that it's going up to the 1460, and maybe it might test this 1520, 1540 region. Who knows? But definitely next week we should allow this pair to go up, and then we should be looking for a reversal and an opportunity to sell back to this level. Now this is going to be an easy trade for you guys out there. Just wait till you see the pair anywhere in this region and pull the trigger for a sell. Wait for you to see the pair around this region and you pull the trigger for a buy. It's pretty much straightforward. We'll be keeping our analysis for this week mainly on USD pairs. I feel there's a lot of activity going on in the USD pairs now, and it's a good opportunity to trade some of those movements. Yeah, looking at the USDCHF, Swiss franc, we can see a similar story. For those of you that are well aware of that, you would know that both the Euro USD and the USDCHF move in opposite direction. They are negatively correlated. So now that you're expecting the Euro USD to rise a little bit more into this region and then sell, we should be expecting the reverse of that on the USDCHF, of which we should be expecting this to fall to this region and then look to buy back to this region. You can see it's trading in pretty much a tight range. Can we see something different on a weekly? Yeah, you can see this range that we are trading in is actually a subset of a bigger range that the pair is trading in. That's from somewhere within 0.95, 50, 60 thereabout to 140. So should we see a break to the lower boundary, then we should be looking at this next as 95.60 thereabout as our next target. But I would expect a strong rejection around the 97.90 area for the pair to go back up to the resistance around 140, 150. The GBPUSD, clearly there has been a strong breakout of this trend line. It's in a clear bullish move. This is supported by the fall we have seen in the dollar, and coupled with the strong bullish move we saw last week from the pound. So um where next this pair is going, there is no clear resistance in its path. So I guess it's going to be, we can see one around here, but I guess this pair might just retrace a little bit and might keep going a little bit higher. I'm not really going to focus much on this pair going into the new week. Now, USDJPY. Now, this particular pair, I see a different outlook on this pair from all the other USD pairs. I'm going to treat it a little bit different from all the other USD pairs. In my analysis from 2 weeks ago, I hinted at a buy, and we can actually see that there was some buy pressure on this pair based on the strong rejection. You can see a confluence of rejections around this area for this pair, and if there's any fall on this pair, I expect it to be contained by the 108 region. That's just maybe to retest this region as a double bottom before eventually going back to 114. Any dip I see in this pair, I'll see it as an opportunity to buy at a lower price. That will be all for this pair. If I see an opportunity to enter, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'm now on TradingView. If you care to follow me, I'll be dropping most of my analysis and trade calls on TradingView. I'm also still on Telegram, dropping my trade analysis and signals there. Now, on to USDCAD. A similar story with all the other USD pairs. The analysis on this a few weeks ago and last weekend, I wasn't able to make a video, but I just dropped an analysis on TradingView, was that this pair is now trading in a correction phase of a bigger move down. You can see, if we go back to weekly, you can see that this pair is trading in this channel, and there was that rejection at the upper range of the channel, and it's coming down, but it's kind of like in a corrective phase within this region here. If you come down to daily, you can see it more clearly. We can see that there's a corrective phase here before it resumes its impulsive move, and which is what happened on Friday. Now, I tried to sell this pair a few times during the week around this region, and I got stopped out on 2 occasions, and that led to me missing this big move here. But that is still okay. I think the pair moved well over 100 pips. Yeah, we can see about 127 thereabouts. We can see that it has now finally broken this lower region. So what I'll be looking out for next week is a reversal. I'll be looking for a retracement, back to this trend line before it finally extends all the way down to the lower region of that channel. So I'll be looking out for a sell on this pair, let's say Tuesday, Wednesday. So moving on to the Australian dollar versus the USD dollar. Let's take our analysis first from the weekly, and from there you see that there has been a clear bullish rejection of this support here. You can see that there was one that happened earlier on, that was from December entering into January, and you can see there was the bullish move, and this is a corrective phase, and it has resumed this bullish move. It is more evident as well on the daily. As you can see, it also closed above the 10-period moving average, although it didn't get all the way back down to the support, but you can see that there was that corrective phase, and now it's resuming its impulsive move. And the next bus stop on this pair should be 73.40, 73.30, 73.40. That should be our next box stop on this pair. At this period, at this area, I should be looking out to see the pair reversing, maybe dropping a few more, a few 100 pips before going back up, or possibly it might try to retest this. I don't know yet, but we'll see what happens when it gets to 0.7330 or 0.7340. Now moving on to gold. Yeah, now my outlook for gold a few weeks ago was heavily bearish. I published my thoughts on quite a number of platforms because of the rejection I saw here on a confluence of rejections that I saw here. But we can see that it has turned bullish, at least for the time being. You can see that there's that clear bullish move on that pair. It has broken this confluence of resistances on weekly. It has broken the upper channel of this upper range of this channel and this resistance. So definitely going into next week, I would expect this pair to drop a little before a stronger bullish move on this pair. Also, I will not be surprised if I see gold just turn around and become bearish. I will not be surprised if that. But let's keep our fingers crossed and see what happens on that pair as it goes into next week. But I'll be looking for opportunities to buy this pair. So moving along, looking at silver. Silver is similar to gold, but I can see silver approaching a very strong resistance zone, of which will make me to stand aside from silver at this particular point in time. I would like to see what happens when the pair gets to this resistance point, this resistance area, sorry, and then from there we'll look at what to do next from there. It's too close to the resistance area for us to be taking a buy position, in my view. Going to 4 hours, nothing changed. It's still too close to the resistance, a very strong resistance for that matter, for us to be taking a buy trade on that. Let me quickly jump to crude oil before I now come back and look at some of the other pairs. Now, looking at crude oil, for those of you that know the correlation between crude oil and the USDCAD, you know that both pairs are also inversely correlated. Now, this sharp drop in the USDCAD can only lead to a bullish move on crude oil, and by extension Brent crude as well, or Brent light crude as some people call it. So you can see that crude oil is approaching a strong resistance, well, not so strong resistance. So I would wait to see a bullish break of this resistance right here at about 54.70. If we get a clean break of that, then I'll join that pair for a bullish ride north. There seems to be no more resistance in the path of that pair until we get to about $63, give or take. So if we get a good break of our $54, then the next bus stop for this pair should be somewhere around $63. So we should keep our eye out for that. Now I'll just quickly come back to Euro New Zealand dollar. This, by next week, we should just look out for a reversal, any kind of reversal activity going on around this pair at 165.60. For the Euro UAD, sorry, Euro AUD, just going by correlation with the Australian dollar against the US dollar, we are expecting this pair to rise based on my previous analysis. Coming back to this, we should be expecting this pair to also sell. You can see that there was that big reversal candle pin bar on Thursday, and you can see it started a bearish move on Friday. What do we see on weekly? You can see it's pretty much an exhaustion candle. Pretty much a retracement on the bearish move, and we can expect that that move will continue at least to 156.22. That will be our first bus stop when selling this pair. So let me just see if we can review some more pairs before I end for the day. Okay, yeah, EURJPY weekly. Now, my thoughts on this pair, although it's not ripe for any trade per se, but going into the month of February, I would like to see EURJPY get to around 127.50. I'd like to see it go back up to this point where we can see that we have some confluence of resistance, and then for the pair to turn and fall as far low as 111, get to the 111 mark, sorry. So we'll just be sitting and waiting on our hands and see what will happen when this pair gets to 127.50. EURGBP, we made some pips off this pair during the month of January. I tried to sell from as high as possible, but the news on Brexit a few weeks ago took us out of this trade, but we were able to rejoin somewhere around here, and we made some pips all the way to the support. Now, if you look closely, you can see that the EURGBP is still trading in a sideways range, and last week's activity did not break the absolute low of that range, which means that the bearish move might be over. Now, emphasis on the word might. Now, should we see the pair trade below this level, then definitely we should expect the pair to go a little bit lower. When I say might, I would not be surprised if I see this pair turn around and go back to trade within this range. I would not be surprised. But initially, I'll stand aside and look at what happens on this pair on Monday, on Tuesday, and from there, we might go ahead and make our trading decision from there. But overall, the pound is looking bullish, and that would support this pair falling a little bit more. Now, let's just run through the pound pairs. You can see that GBPCAD was trading within this range has been trading in this range for the past 5-6 months, and we can see that there was that breakout. There was a significant breakout that occurred last week. So with this, we should be expecting traders to buy on any pullback. Any pullback should be an opportunity for you to buy. If we go to GBPCHF, we see a similar story there. We can see the break of that. There was a nice bullish run on this pair, which unfortunately I missed. I had the analysis in place, everything was in place, but I just missed that pair completely. It was already too late by the time I joined, but I was able to get a few pips out of it, but definitely we could have gotten a lot more. But you can see there's that break there. Should it continue trading above this level, then the next bus stop should be around 133.96 or 134. The GBPJPY, well, this is pretty straightforward. Traders should just look for any opportunity to buy this pair. Any dip in this pair should be an opportunity to buy until it gets to around 155. It would not be immediate. It might get to 155 this month, it might get to 155 next month, it might get to 155 in 3 months time. But if you have the patience, look for an opportunity to buy and hold till this pair gets to around 155. And last but not the least, looking at GBPAUD. Now, most of my analysis on the pound pairs have been bullish, but on this particular pair I wish to be bearish on this pair. I'm going to be looking out for bearish moves on this particular pair, simply because I can see that there has been a rejection at this resistance for the GBPAUD. It's this resistance has held throughout 2018. It has been tested twice, or you can call this a test. It has been tested at least 3 times previously, and it refused to break. And we can see on daily that there's a clear rejection candle on this pair. Furthermore, we can also correlate it with the AUDUSD, which has turned bullish, and the the Euro AUD, which has turned bearish. And for you, those of you that know, you know that there's a very strong correlation between the Euro AUD and the GBP AUD. They move most of the time in tandem. If this is selling, then this will also be selling. And you also know that the correlation between the GBP AUD and the AUD USD is negative, meaning that if this pair, the AUD USD, is buying, then the GBP AUD should be selling. So just based on this, I would be looking out for sell opportunities on this pair, and I hope that you are also going to do the same thing. Yeah, so just not to make the video too long for you guys out there, I wish you guys a happy trading week. I expect you to give me testimonies of how many pips you guys have been able to make. I've been getting a lot of letters, people chatting me up, people dropping notes in my inbox about how much they have been able to make and how much they have benefited from my charts. And if it's useful to you, why don't you tell someone about it? Why don't you invite more people to profit from this? So once again, my name is Somi from Investment Live, and I wish you guys a prosperous week ahead.